Sure. Okay. The question was about the audition process and how we are preparing and how we prepare financially and things like that. Yeah, this is a hard one because we're not string players, so trumpet auditions don't come around very often, especially full-time ones. And you know, to be honest with you, auditions are very expensive, so it's worth your time to be ready. I think I took about auditions, I think in the high 20s, and I think I advanced at least half of those and was a runner-up, I think, either 4 or 5 times, and I think I won 3 or 4 of them at different levels. And so they are really, really expensive. So it's worth it to be as prepared as you possibly can. And just to move into kind of my audition story, as some of you might know, I actually played a 2-year substitute position in the Pittsburgh Symphony before I won the audition, which is a really good thing because they knew my strengths, but the panel also knew my weaknesses, and I still had to win, and I still had to play the best. And the process for me probably started about two months before the actual audition day. You know, they send a list, and then I started banging out, you know, obviously you get a list and there's a lot of similarities between them. But I would actually try to simulate every part of the audition that I possibly could. And that means that, for instance, I would have a little place down in the basement of our house. And about half an hour before, I would pick out about 7 or 8 excerpts randomly off of the list. And then half an hour later, I would go down to my basement and I would only play those 7 excerpts. That's it. And I would, no matter what happens, and I would go back upstairs. And maybe a couple hours later, I would do the same thing, just, you know, randomly pulling excerpts out of the hat and just getting ready that way, so that I wasn't going down there and like, oh, that excerpt didn't go very well, I should practice it now. I did that too, but I wanted to simulate how it would feel. I prepared every possible thing that I possibly could. I knew when I went on stage, this is where I'm going to put the cases. I knew which pockets the mouthpieces were going to go in. I knew which slot the trumpets were going to go in. And when I walked on stage, I was so prepared that the fire alarms could have gone off, the sprinkler system could have turned down, and it wouldn't have affected me one bit because I was so ready. And it's that mental preparation, like I mentioned before. It's not just being able to play the trumpet the best. It's being able to get yourself so mentally focused on what you have to do that you sit down in the chair and it's like a light switch. Boom, Don Juan, boom, you know, whatever. So you truly have to just be ready in all facets of the audition process. And I felt like I was. One more thing before I pass it on. I'm big into motivational things too. And I had a sign up in my basement, and I kind of adapted it like it was a quote that I found on the internet. And it goes something like this. In a moment of crisis, you will not rise to the occasion, nor to your own expectations. Rather, you will default to your level of preparation and training. And I truly believe that, because when the lights are on and you're the only one on stage and you really want this job and you really want to play your best, you're going to default to how well you've prepared. You're not going to be able to just sit there and just be like, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to play awesome today. That might happen, but that's only because you've prepared well, not because it's your day. And I would emphasize that to all of you, that if you're, like you said, spending a lot of money going to auditions, they are very expensive when you count airfare and travel and food and parking and whatever. It's worth your time to be as prepared in every facet of the game as you possibly can.